Last time on Vermont Pyro Boys, we're going on another road trip. We are going to take a trip down to Elite Fireworks in Amherst, New Hampshire. Nice.
We have arrived.
I got a lot of stuff, but it's all laid out, literally, right behind the camera right now. Here it comes, guys.
The Elite Stash Video!
Alright guys, here it is, the stash video. My apologies for leaving you hanging. Elite has a great YouTube channel of their own. They're active on social media, so you can just search Elite Fireworks on whatever platform you're on and probably find something for them. And check them out because they do a lot of great stuff. So, I know you're chomping at the bit. Shall we begin? Let's go! Alright, so you know how I like to do small to big. So let's start with the Firecrackers. If you remember on the walkthrough video, I did tell Valmir that I was kind of a cracker guy. I don't say I'm a full-on crackerhead because I don't collect them and don't go for tons of variety, but I love to light strips. So these were on my list. I got a brick of 200 shots, which there's 4 strips of that. A brick of 400 shots, which there are 2 strips per brick of that, and a brick of 1,000 shot rolls, which comes with 3. Now, Valmir talked in the video about if you buy things in bulk at Elite, that you get a better deal, and that is absolutely the case. I'll tell you a little bit about the pricing. Both of these, if you do the math, have 800 firecrackers a piece, and they were both $8. $8 a piece. So $8 for 4 200 strips, which is really good. The 1,000 shot brick was, I think it was in the neighborhood of $24. So 1,000 shot roll was $12. So basically this is like buy 2 get 1 free if you take the brick. And these are all available in case sizes for an even better deal. So those were on my list. Now the next several small items that we're going to look at were my impulse buys. I had a budget. I always do, but I always leave a little bit of wiggle room because, you know, once you get into a fireworks store, you're going to see stuff that you want. And even still, there's stuff I would have grabbed, but had to exercise some restraint. So I got these fountains. Now, all of these were impulse buys. I love lighting fountains, and I love having things that I don't need to go to a shoot site. I can just go to the backyard or out in my driveway and do. So I picked up these 6 little fountains. Here we have Cheers. And this is by Pitbull Fireworks. My shadow is kind of on the logo there, but it looks very similar to the Boom Barrel from Sky Bacon. So I'm expecting it'll be probably similar. I don't know if it's a rewrap or not. Then we have the Slam Dunk. And the Slam Dunk I got for one main reason, and that's because it's Monkey Mania. And Monkey Mania is something that I don't really see around here very much, or its parent company, Raccoon, which most of you guys know. So I really wanted to try something from them. So I grabbed that. And then I have these 4 fountains from Brothers. I remember watching the company demo for Urban Action here and being impressed by it. And as fountains go, it's got some weight to it. So there's probably a good amount of comp in there. Neon Night, you guys probably remember Valmir was pointing those out on the shelf as we were taking our tour with him. There was a whole bunch of them to choose from. I think 5 different colors. So I just grabbed the blue one because I like to see blue, and it's a color that's sometimes a challenge for fireworks companies, so I like to see what they can do. And then I've got this little set of 2, the Loud Rhythm. I think that says Rapper and Rocker, probably. So no plans for these specifically, but just having some fun. So, and then next up, we're going to come to the 200-gram cakes that I picked out. Once again, these were impulse buys. All the big stuff was on my list, and these I just kind of grabbed as I was going. So, first off, we have Smoke Dragon from Winda, 16-shot daytime firework. Shoots up plumes of colorful smoke, and I think there's crackle at the top just that you can hear. I've passed this one by on a lot of trips to various fireworks stores, and I'm really excited to try it. I've kind of always wanted to get it, and I haven't yet. And then also from Winda, we've got the Dragon Duel, which I'm pretty psyched for. That features the Scattering Stars effect. That's one of my new favorites. And then we've got a couple from Raccoon. I love what I've seen online from Raccoon, but once again, I can't get Raccoon around here, so I was really happy and really wanted to try a couple. So I grabbed the Strobing Willow because I love willows, and Velmir, if you remember, pulled this one right off the shelf and said it was one of his favorites. So I'm excited to see that. And then I've got the Dreams from Heaven. And honestly, I don't even remember why I chose this one over some of the others. I think I had 3 other Raccoon cakes, and I was just going back and forth, and I didn't know what to do. So anyway, I went with that one, grabbed those for 200 grammars, so we'll probably just do regular demos of those. Now we're going to get to the bigger stuff. Now, when I do these stash videos, a lot of times I'll wait till the end and ask you guys, if there's something you want to see, drop me a note in the comments. And absolutely, you're very welcome to do so now. But a lot of these larger items, I actually have a plan of what I want to do with them. So I will explain that as I go through. If you have other ideas that you think might be cool, definitely let me know, because you know what? I haven't lit any of the fuses yet, and I can certainly adjust and change if you guys have an idea that sounds something really neat that I'd like to try. Absolutely, because I love hearing them from you guys. Part of the whole process of doing Pyro and having the YouTube is communicating with you guys so that I can get ideas, maybe something that I wouldn't have thought of that would be really fun to try. So let's take a look. So the one 500-gram cake that I bought a single of is Stop Looking, I Found It. I love the company demo of this one. I watched company demos for a lot of the 500 grammers, and this was the one that I felt like I wanted for a demo to just have one to shoot. I only got one. Perhaps I'll regret that later, but it looks like it's got some really nice angles on it and just a lot of really great effects. Now we're going to get into things that I bought by the case. So let's come down here first and look. I picked up the Elements. It was kind of neat that Velmir mentioned this specifically on the walkthrough, as I already had chosen that one. I knew I was going to get it, and I'm pretty happy that I did, and apparently he is a fan of that one too. It must be great if it's one of their most popular selling kits, or cases, if you will. Next up, we have the Game Night Assortment from Winda Fireworks. This is, if you're not used to reading the content markings on a case of fireworks, is a 4-3 case. Basically, that means it has 4 each of 3 different cakes. And these are the 3 cakes: Pinball Wizard, Retro Arcade, and Air Hockey Hero. I have done individual demos of each one of these cakes on the channel already. So if you want to see a full demo, you can scroll back in the Winda Fireworks playlist that I've got, and you'll find them. They're right there. They're all really good. They all have a similar firing pattern, but slightly different effects. And why would I buy a whole case of these after having shot all of them already? I really like, they have a W shape effect that goes up with breaks at the top and then Roman candles that go across. And I know I've talked about getting ready to start working with my firing system. I really want to use those angles and have more than one of the same cake with the same effects going, and try and crisscross some of the lines, or just have the angles going up on either side of my field. So I bought these specifically to play with the firing system and get myself learning to do more than one station to fire from in my field up at Pyro Camp. So that is pretty cool. Then we have Gone Past Jupiter. I got the box, which would be a 2-1. There are 2 Gone Past Jupiter cakes in this. If you remember, Velmir talked a little bit about alloy cakes. I think that name comes from just that it's a sort of a hybrid between a NOAB and a regular 500-gram cake. And I watched the company demo on this a bunch of times, and it is also really cool. Super psyched for this one. Really can't wait to get it up in the air. The box price, once again, the case prices are less expensive there, was, when you divided the box price by 2, I felt like it was a good value, whereas buying one by itself was probably a little bit more than I would spend on a single cake. So definitely, I mean, you're going to notice as we go through this that I really did choose to go with cases quite a bit, because that is how they get you. That's where the savings are. So Jupiter box, really psyched for that. And then we had, I actually bought these by the case as well, but I am splitting the cases with another Pyro in my area. So I got a case which was 616. So that means 6 each of 16 shots of Arms Depot from Raccoon, which look like really cool color shells. I think there's some strobe in there too. And they look really nice, and they're my first shells from Raccoon. So I'm pretty psyched to get those. And basically what I told my buddy that I was splitting the cases with was I was going to look for 1 case of color and 1 case of willows. So we have Holy Nishiki down here. Been around for a long time. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Fantastic willow cans. I am really psyched to try them. These will be my first ones. And I've got 2 here. I will do a full demo like I love to do, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching on the channel, of one of these whole kits. I'm going to do the same thing with Arms Depot. And then I like to have the second one to cherry pick. I am a total cherry picker with my canisters. So I will watch the full demo. I use these things for reference myself and pick out the shells that I like, or pick out shells with specific colors added in or whatever they've got, and use them when I have a celebration or do a comparison video or something like that. And then there's one other thing that I want to talk about here, and that is freebies. Some fireworks stores do them. Some fireworks stores do not. It's kind of up to the worker or whoever is there when you're cashing out to decide what they're going to give you or not. And Valmir was nice enough to send me home with some pretty cool stuff. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. So as I was shopping, I kind of had all my stuff from my list stacked up on a big cart. And he came over and he set these 3 cakes right on top first. So he gave me Brave Soldier with 18 shots, Roaring Bot from the Cyborg Mania set, which is actually pretty cool. I had Cyborg Mania in mind and changed my opinion and grabbed the elements instead, just because I wanted 4 cakes instead of 3. But I really did think I was interested in Cyborg Mania, so it was nice to get one of those. And the Droid Fighter. And these are all up to 500 gram cakes. Looking at the size and from what Valmir said in our walkthrough, I'm sure there's varying amounts of powder weight. But I'm really excited to try all of them. And then I believe he has a formula to decide how much he is allowed to give for freebies. Because I had grabbed my impulse buys, the 200 gram cakes and the fountains, and brought them over, and then he said, oh, you also can have this. And he gave me a whole sleeve of the Jinx Jesters, which is their new series of 6 200 gram cakes. Each one is a different kind of scary clown theme. So I have watched the demos on them. I've watched other pyros post videos of them here on YouTube, and I'm pretty excited to see those too. So there you have it, guys. That is the stash from Elite Fireworks. I am pretty happy with what I got. As I said, you will all see most of it as we travel forward here on the Vermont Pyro Boys. All right, guys, so that about does it for the stash video. I hope you liked what you saw. I'm pretty excited to have all that stuff to try. I can't wait to get out and light some of it off. Just to reiterate, if there's a cake you want to see a demo of or an idea for something to try with the firing system, let me know in the comments. Sometimes it takes a little while for me to get to them, but I do remember them all. Good case in point would be when I did the Hookset store tour and stash video, 64 score pyro. I remember you in the comments, sir, asked to see One Hot Crime from Pyro Demon, and I have shot that cake. It is on deck, and as a matter of fact, I will go ahead and post that video in 2 days' time for you. It will be the next one. So we call it subscriber's choice if you want. Yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to give me a little thumbs up if you did, because it helps the channel out. And if you're new and you're just discovering the Vermont Pyro Boys, hope you will hit that subscribe button, because we are going to light all this stuff off at some point or another. I've got a bunch of demos that are ready to go in the immediate future as well. Love shooting fireworks. Love sharing them with you guys. Happy to do it all the time, at least as much as I can. So, thanks again for spending time watching fireworks with me. We'll see you next time on the Vermont Pyro Boys. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.